Hello, all you coin aficionados out there, and welcome to the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Today we have the 5 pence coin from Great Britain, or the United Kingdom. And this is a 2012 version of it. And perhaps no coin in British history has undergone more transformations than the 5 pence coin has between 1968 and 2018. There have been 6 different versions of the 5 pence coin in that time. And again, there she is on the 2012 version. That's Queen Elizabeth II. So let's take a look at some of the prior versions. And while I'm not able to explain why they made so many versions, I can certainly walk you through some of the versions that they made. So here we go. Let's start with the first version of the 5 pence coin came out in 1968. And there she is right there, the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, 50 years ago this year, or the year that we're making this. And you see on the left it says DG Reg FD 1968, by the grace of God, Queen, or Regina, Defender of the Faith 1968, Elizabeth II. Now, why did they start producing the 5 pence coin in 1968? Well, Britain had decided to go to decimalization of the pound. Prior to 1968, they had a number of coins, and they were all worth some portion of the British pound, but it was kind of a tricky system to navigate. So this was the 6 pence coin. The 6 pence coin was worth 1/40th of a British pound. So a 1 pence coin was worth, obviously, 1/240th. A 3 pence coin was worth 1/80th. A 6 pence coin was worth 1/40th, or 1/2 of a shilling. A shilling was worth 1/20th. And so what Britain decided to do was to move over to a decimalization style pound, where every coin was a decimal portion of the pound. And when they finally did that in 1970, but the precursor was this 5 pence coin, or 5 new pence coin. So the 5 new pence coin, which came out in 1968 and was produced until 1981, was a harbinger of the decimalization of the British pound. You see that it has a reeded edge, and it says 5 new pence on the back. The front was an Arnold Machin portrait. The back is from Christopher Ironside, and it has a crown over a Scottish thistle. It says new pence at the top, 5 at the bottom under the thistle leaves. And this is a symbol of Scotland, the thistle. And this is a British crown above it. And it has a beaded inner rim. Now, what they did was they made this coin until 1981, but they didn't make it after 1980. So they didn't actually produce this in 1981 except in proof or sets versions. And you'll see that that becomes a similar refrain as we go through the next coins. The next set of coins actually didn't come out until 1987, and this is one of that series. And that was because from 1982 to 1984, they produced a coin that was a non-circulating coin and was only sold in sets and proofs. And then in 1985 and 1986, they started producing this coin. And if we tip it over, you'll see what the difference was. Instead of saying 5 new pence, it said 5 pence. So from 82 to 84, they produced this coin, but only in proofs. From 85 to 86, they produced this coin, but only in proofs. And then in 1987, they came out with this coin as a circulating version. And this is the 1988, the year they made 120 million of these coins, almost 121 million. So they made this coin from 1985 to 1990, but they only put it into circulation in the years 87, 88, and 89. All other years were proof sets. Now, they decided they would change again. And so this time what they decided to do was make a somewhat smaller coin. So here is the 1990, um, and this coin was produced. It's called the small type, and you can see why. The small type um, third portrait, same third portrait from, um, uh, but this is a Raphael David Makhlouf, of course. And on the back, we still have the same thing, the crowned thistle, but it's just a much smaller coin. So we've gone from a 5.65 gram coin here to a 3.25 gram coin here. So from 1990 to 1997, they produced this coin, but again, they didn't produce it every single year. Some years they only produced proof sets. This coin, when they decided to come with the small 5 pence, they produced 1.6 billion of them. So we're going to do videos on each of these coins individually, but I just want to go over them all to kind of show you them. So when this coin was produced in 1990, there were 1.635 billion produced. Then they decided to move to a new version, and this version, of course, is the fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth. So they went from the third portrait, and prior to that we had the second portrait. So here's the second, third, and then it's the fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth. Not the fourth portrait on these coins, because there was no first portrait 5 pence coin of Queen Elizabeth, because by the time they started making the 5 pence coin in 1968, we had already moved on from the first portrait to the second portrait. So, and I should explain that a little bit. The British put Queen Elizabeth on the coins, or whoever their king or queen is on the coins, and then every so many years they change them to reflect that the queen or king is getting older. So this is the fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth, and it's a Ian Rank Broadley portrait, and it came out on this coin starting in 1988, and we have the 1999 version. This version, they made 195.5 million of these, and you can see it's the same coin except for a different portrait, but in order to change the portrait, they actually changed how they wrote the front of it. So it says Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen and Defender of the Faith, 1999. So bigger type, bigger portrait, and this is an older Queen Elizabeth, I believe. In this portrait, she is 77 years old. And if we turn it over, we see the same Scottish thistle, the same 5 pence in English at the top and 5 at the bottom in the beaded inner rim. And it is a reeded edge, but it's somewhat different reeded edge than the other one. See how they kind of changed this reeded edge up. So then they came to the one we originally were looking at. And this is the 2012 version. This actually came out in 2011. In 2012, they produced 340 million of these coins. And this is the fourth portrait, but they did another thing that was quite interesting, and that is they changed what the coins were made of. So in this portrait here, which they made from 98 to 2008, this was a copper nickel coin. For some reason in 2011, they decided to go to a nickel-plated steel, and I think it was obviously to save money in the production. So what happens with nickel-plated steel is that it's magnetic. So the copper nickel, and some of you have seen me before, I get my magnet out, I put it over the top. Copper nickel is not going to get picked up by a magnet, but you could hear that click as the steel-plated coin, nickel-plated steel coin came up. And then they also changed the back, and look at this. This is that funky series of coins they made where each coin was a different part of the British shield, and all of the shield is available on the pound coins, but the other coins, the 5 pence, 10 pence, 1 pence, or 1 penny, they all have a piece of the shield in the 20p. So this is a piece of the shield, and it was made from 2011 to 2015, and you can see the lion and the harp. Uh, and so we have Wales, England, Scotland, Scotland, and Ireland as parts of this British shield. And that's the Irish harp, of course. All right, so they did, after 2012, they made this coin for another 3 years. And then in 2015, they came out with a new version. I'm not going to show you that one. That's the one that's currently available in Great Britain and they currently use. And that's a Jody Clark portrait. And it's, again, quite different portrait of the Queen that Jody Clark did, starting in 2015 to the present day. All right, that's a long-winded lot of information about the British 5-pence coin. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a comment in the comment section. If there's anything you'd like or don't like, please also leave that in the comment section. And we'd love to have you subscribe to the DC Coin World International Coin channel.